angry protests are becoming a familiar sight in Tunisia. When the young people took to the streets in 2010, they brought down a government that had ruled for more than 2 decades. And once more, poverty and lack of jobs have brought them onto the streets.
It has been 7 years and the government has still not done anything to help the poor people like myself.
We are protesting here because of high prices and unemployment. But security agents are getting violent to make us leave.
Tunisia's government wants to cut the gap between what it spends and what it earns, so it's announced a number of austerity measures. It's raising taxes on cars, phone calls, internet use, bank profits, alcohol, and a long list of other products and services. It's also slashing wages and subsidies on electricity. Tunisia's economy has been rocked by terror attacks and political uncertainty in recent years, and industries like tourism have all but collapsed. The government's calling for calm and promising better days ahead.
We want to tell the protesters that improving the economic and social conditions of the people and returning their trust in their country is the top priority of this government, and that Tunisia is improving.
But Tunisians have waited for the benefits of democracy for years now. And for many, patience is wearing thin. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
Joining me now is TRT World senior field producer Mouhssine Ennaimi. Mouhssine, welcome. You've covered Tunisia extensively. When you were last there, what was the mood like on the streets? And are you surprised by the protests that are happening right now?
Well, I mean, the last time there were, like, a lot of optimism because...
Optimism over the economy?
Yeah, the economy. It was a new government. He was giving some promises about a better future. He was also bringing people from civil society, bringing some new heads from the political landscape that we used to know, especially and stained with like corruption. So there were a lot of optimism, but at the same time, no, there was not that much optimism because the same roots haven't been tackled properly. We are having now an economical crisis going to a social turmoil. What's interesting here is that all the protests started almost at the same time. So the austerity measure comes at hitting a society which is already vulnerable, and we're talking about 6% inflation. We're talking about the dinar, the local currency, who's been depreciated for 25% in the past 2 years. An increase of VAT, which, as you know, impacts every citizen, including the one which are unemployed. So if you add, of course, the unemployment, 15% in general, and 30% among the educated one, you have the recipe for disaster. And that's what we're having now, 7 years after. People were asking for work and dignity, but now we can say that the account is not there.
Yeah, and it seems to be a very delicate time to be implementing austerity measures, as you say, Ennaimi, Mouhssine. But look, even last year, the government was actually pretty optimistic themselves. I mean, people that you spoke to for TRT were pretty optimistic from the Tunisian government.
I remember I interviewed some ministers when they were getting their new job, and I would say they might have a lot of expectation and a lot of goodwill, I would say, but at the same time they might have faced grand realities, and they didn't really restore the economy. The biggest issue is this huge youth population who has not really a hope. I mean, if you look at the figures, in the past year, you have 4 times more people trying to cross to Europe. And what they do, they just save some money and they go and wait for good condition to cross the sea and risk their life during a 12-hour trip to reach Lampedusa in southern Italy. Smugglers have efficient network. Fishermen are selling their boats, and all this contributes to the idea that the people, some Tunisians, think and now are convinced that there's no decent economical horizon,
Yeah.
not even like, decent horizon for them in their country.
Far-reaching consequences that are going to reach possibly beyond Tunisia's shores then. Mouhssine and Ennaimi, thank you very much indeed.